people, stories that matter.
Oh wow! Haha.
Truth in every moment, now and forever. Across every border, across every land, we form, we empower, together we stand. From Africa to the world, connecting every voice.
A very good afternoon to you here on CEMTV's Jolly Life, because you had a wonderful morning here with CEMTV. You had a very wonderful, entertaining time here with us. We informed you, we taught you, we entertained you, and we informed you. And now we are here to gist you. That's basically what Jolly Life is about, where we not only gist, we also we talk about some life lessons, we learn a few things, we share thoughts and opinions. That is what Jolly Life is about. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Emmanuel Tamuno Tenari, but you can call me Tammy for short. And of course, I'm not alone in the studio. I have the weather oracle Vera Philip here with me. Vera, how's it going?
Well, it's going fine. It's a Friday. Thank God it's Friday, and we just finished our Thank God it's Friday.
Yeah, we definitely did. I was saving that topic, but
yeah. See, whatever you do, try and allow yourself to relax. Hang out with people, eat one or two, because if I tell you how refreshed I feel right now, you won't believe it.
Honestly,
I feel good. We just had a very interesting Thank God it's Friday in the office, and I must really say that this should be inculcated in most corporate organizations so that people can always relax, do the job well, and also enjoy themselves while doing it.
Exactly, because see, you gave them the tip of the iceberg. I want them to feel jealousy, so I will give you the nitty gritty, the details.
Are you sure we should go down? For the sake of those that have toxicity in their workspace, we are not trying to
our colleague said, my enemies will be where they are, they will run their mouth. But what they will say will not affect me, I will not hear them. So any toxicity they want to share over there, it no concern me.
No, we should try and understand their feelings. We should try and put their feelings.
It doesn't mean I shouldn't be happy with what I have.
Yeah. But okay, you know what? I mean, who am I? I just have to support you. So please go ahead.
Of course. So we were enjoying work in the office, and then we received a call, TGIF.
Yes.
You understand? Come down to the lounge for TGIF.
And we all just,
at first we were slightly confused as to what, we know, thank God it's Friday, but why are we thanking God it's Friday? You understand? That kind of movement. Why are we thanking God it's Friday? And when we came down and we saw the setup, we saw the samosa, we saw the puff, we saw the meat, we saw the drinks. Oh my God, we saw the cake. I'm like, this is not party. We're not talking about office party. We're talking about thank God it's Friday. The chairman just said, look, let's come together and thank God that it's Friday.
And this is to reiterate that it's not like we had any activity today. That there's no birthday party, nothing. We just woke up today and said, you know what? Let's go and enjoy life. Let's go and flex today. Thank God it's Friday. And yes, kudos to our chairman. Thank you so much for that amazing Thank God it's Friday party that we had in the office. Because guess what? See how energetic Tammy and I are here for the show. So if you did not have that Thank God it's Friday, you don't know what version of us you'd have been expecting.
True.
But here we are now, very energetic to come and have Jolly Life with you.
Very happy and ready to share this gist with
definitely.
you. In as much as we are happy, the person whose gist we are going to discuss today, she was not happy. And the reason she wasn't happy was because she was like, there's a particular type of parenting that most Nigerian parents these days are beginning to practice or are practicing, and to her it makes absolutely no sense. She calls it nonsense. She calls it, she calls it all sorts of names. She gave several examples, many of which you're going to see on the video we're about to play for you. So, buckle up your seatbelts if you're on your way from work, or you're on your way to work, or you're trekking home, or you're just anywhere you are. Sit down, relax, because who knows, maybe this gist if you knock you too, but you can share the thoughts or you can disagree. You understand? So watch this video.
All these new parents, it's your stupid gentle parenting rubbish. Your family members, your friends will hear that you are bringing your child to an event, to their house. They will be irritated. Your child is irritating people because of your rubbish, stupid gentle parenting nonsense. You carry an ill-mannered child and be walking up and down. They will tell you, your child is doing this, or your child is behaving this way, or your child cannot comport themselves. Your child doesn't know when to sit down. Adults are talking. You'll be doing, this boy is still stubborn. Stop it. Are you stupid? Don't bring your wild animal and come close to where human beings are, please. You are training a wild animal. A child of 7 years above cannot sit down one place, cannot listen to their parents. Your parents will say, sit down one place, or you will tell your child, sit down one place, or stop talking, or don't touch that. They will be doing strong head, and you cannot do anything about it. You are raising a wild animal. Don't bring that rubbish and enter society, please. If you cannot train your child, lock that thing inside house, I beg. I'm so irritated, please. And let me tell you, the way I'm irritated, that's why it's irritating. That's how it's irritating people around you too. It's irritating your family, it's irritating everybody around you. You are raising nonsense. I'm telling you, my neighbor's daughter is just 2 years old. Whether her mom or her dad is there or not, immediately she sights an adult, this girl will greet. Not just that she doesn't know the difference between good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. No. Not just that she will greet, she will even genuflect. That is 2 years old though. For those of you that will come and be commenting, hey, a child of 7 years is still a small child. Shut up your dirty, stinking mouth. That's not how you were raised. That's why you have respect. Don't raise your nonsense child like that, please. What kind of rubbish is this? I'm so tired of it. It's irritating me. You see small children. The other day I went to make my hair. I was pressing my phone. This woman's child came. I was choking her head in my phone. I was expecting this woman to talk. She didn't say. I had to push the child away. What do you mean? What are you doing? What are you guys doing? I beg. Why are you raising wild animals? Control your child.
In this situation, what she has said is a view that a lot of people either agreed with or they disagreed with on social media. And the example she gave, I'm pretty sure that a lot of us have seen, experienced, or heard, similar scenarios to that. I know I've experienced, children that are quiet, well behaved, and, respectful in public. And I've experienced children that, they can pull down heaven and hell, bring hell to earth, disturb the neighbors, even destroy your property, and the parents expect them, or rather expect you to not respond, to not react to that kind of situation. Let me give you a fun example. a couple of years back, I was on my way to Abuja. And in the flight, I always like taking the window seat. If it's not the window seat, I will not feel comfortable. I'll either, sleep throughout the flight, or put on my headset, or play games or something. But if I'm at the window seat, I am always looking outside. I'm like observing the beauty of nature, looking at the curvature of the earth, looking at the clouds. I'm occupied. And at this point, I was not at the window seat. Well, I was supposed to be at the window seat, but Nigerians, now, even if they assign you window seat, you would want to, just sit where you want to. So someone had taken my seat. I believe it was F4 or so. I've forgotten the specific seat, but it was close to the window. It was a window seat. So I told him, I was like, sir, you are in my seat. My ticket says I'm supposed to be there. But not like, why you they talk this one now? They talk as if they stay for Nigeria. I'll go sit down anywhere and I beg. I'm like, okay, first of all, there's an order to these things, but okay, fine. I don't want to be that guy that ruined the flight by insisting that this is my seat. Before they insult me, tell me say, nah, me they write the exam, they do like this. Nigerians have bad mouth. Yeah, so I decided to just sit beside him there, close to the aisle. And I believe someone who was his wife, because immediately she came in, she was like, okay, this is where you are, let me stay in front of you now. And then she sat in front with a child. The child, he didn't look like he was up to 10. So give or take, he was within the ages of 5 and 8. So I have this fascination for children. Once you look at a child, you'll be like, oh, like, you're a beautiful looking child, and
fine child.
Exactly, like you just admire the child. This child is beautiful. You look at it, looks like the dad, or it looks like the mom, or wow, I can see the features of both parents. And I was just looking at this boy, and he looked at me, And he, like, you know, when you do eye and remove face, I say, who taught this one this bad character? I say, okay, no wahala, no issues. I ignored, stayed on my own, you know, put my headset, because I was already in a bad mood. He took my seat because I was already in a bad mood. I was with my headset, and before I knew it, I felt someone tugging at my trousers, and I'm like, okay, I know the plane has done its first round, it's doing its second round. Nobody should be standing at this point in time. Who is dragging my trouser? What is dragging my trouser? So I ignored. You know, the tugging was insistent. I kept hearing, everybody stay in your seat, be sure to hold your children, blah, 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 blah. But of course, I wasn't really paying attention to it. And then the person slapped my leg. And I was like, who is tapping me? I'm sitting well, I have my seatbelt, I've done everything I need to do. And I saw this child, your phone. And I'm like, You're like, your phone. I looked at the man, looked at the mother. The man was on his phone. The woman was just, you know, she wasn't even looking at where he was. And I was like, well, I've said it for the man, to the man's hearing. I was like, Oga, I told the boy, Oga, go and sit down with your mother. What are you doing here? Are you not hearing that they say that you should? You're like, no, give me phone, give me phone. I'm like, sir? Well, I said, isn't this your son? Well, Junior, what are you doing there? Now go and sit down with your mommy now. No, phone. He said, okay, if I give you my own phone, I'm like, once they should, like, I now feel like I'm old saying this, but in my own time, you can't even do that. And even if you get possessed by some ancient, wicked, stubborn spirit, and you do it, just a single look is enough to set you straight. And you can hear the lady making that same complaint that you raise your child in a way that they behave like wild animals. You know, it's only wild animals you can't give orders to. You can't give an instruction and they follow it as it's said. You know, and it's annoying because you know that when this person is known for their child being, wayward, being a nuisance, it would in turn, even if the parents are good people, it will in turn affect the reputation of the parent, because it's like, you may want to bring them for this event, you may want to invite them for so and so, but because you know that they may, or it's highly likely that they would come with said child, you would want to say, you know what, I don't want to be involved. So that now brings us to the question, gentle parenting. She said gentle parenting is not the way to go. So let me now ask you, Vera, is gentle parenting actually not the way to go? Because I've heard people that say gentle parenting works, and I've heard people that say it doesn't work. What are your thoughts on that? Okay, so for me, I think that gentle parenting has been misconstrued. And this is why, because a lot of people now think that because I'm supposed to be practicing gentle parenting, I should not correct my child, or even if I should correct my child, I should use word of mouth and be correcting my child. Now this is where I think gentle parenting came in, right? In our days, just like you mentioned, I alone, our parents restricted us from doing things without explanations. For example, your parents will tell you not to collect food from strangers, but they never tell you why, or stuff like that. Or maybe you are standing when you're supposed to sit, and then all they just have to do is look at you, and you know that, oh, maybe I'm not supposed to be standing, I'm supposed to be sitting. There was really no explanation, and maybe us too were not curious enough to know, okay, why are this being instilled in us? Why are we doing this? Why? There was no explanation. Now, we have this generation of children who are absolutely curious. In short, if you tell them, don't touch that thing, it's that thing they want to touch because they want to know exactly why you're saying you should not touch that thing. It is what it is, God is a wise God. So when creating advanced technology as well, while he's creating, before technology is even existing in the world, God already is the master of that. And so as the generation continues to bear forth, wiser children are coming forth. You'll be surprised that the kind of things that hundreds of years away from now, the kind of things that the children that will be born at that time will know, will be very shocking to humans. So as I was saying, now these children are here, this generation of children from Gen Zs to maybe Gen Alphas are here, and are very curious people. Now gentle parenting to me is actually giving reasons to your children, explaining to your children the reason why they shouldn't do this, the reason they shouldn't do this, and the reason they shouldn't do that, instead of just reprimanding them or just stopping them from doing that without explanations. Your children are curious. You allow them
to maybe find the curiosity that they're looking for, or if it's extreme, you explain to them exactly what it is that this is, why they can't do this, and why, without lying to them. You know, maybe even share experiences with them. But that's not how we were trained. That's my understanding of gentle parenting. So if you're telling a child, don't go there, you know, and you know that if that child goes there, that child will fall, right? And that child goes there, and that child, and you tell the child, don't go there, that child does not know why you're saying don't go there. You know, I tell you, if you go to that place, you will fall there. And that child probably is still stubborn and wants to go there. You allow that child to go there, and when the child falls, now that child has learned for him or herself. So your job now is to say, Shebi, I told you not to go to that place. You went to that place. Oh yeah, sorry. You have communicated to that child without anything. Do you understand? So in situations like that, however, even the Bible has called the child good. Now, that means that any child at all that is not being treated or is not being held, you know, with kind of strong hands, you most definitely go astray. Okay. Do you understand? So most definitely you need to train your child. You need to flog your child when necessary. Your child cannot be in a public space and be embarrassing you. When in church back home, there's this set of children. They belong to a particular woman, and every Sunday in church they will disturb, they will run around, they will shout, and I'm always like, how do you parents allow your kids to display like this? And they say, oh, they are just stubborn, and you're giving them the wings to be stubborn. Do something to them. Starve that child. By the time you see that there's no meat, there's no something, he will not do that again the next time. You know, so there's definitely a way to go. And also I always say that there's no manual to training children. I mean, they're all different breeds at the end of the day. However, the person who gave them to us can actually teach us, or can even also help us to train them, which is God. So when you're training a child, you don't have the manual. Best believe whatever it is your mom did for you, you cannot do the same thing for your child. And even if you do the same thing for your child, you don't know if it's going to work. So the best way is to go back to the person who gave you the child and be like, you know what, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this child though. He's the one who gives wisdom, and he's definitely going to give wisdom to how to train it. But generally, I think that gentle parenting has been misconstrued by Nigerians. I would say by Nigerians, because obviously there is also a cultural inheritance, should I put it like that, from the whites. There's how the white people treat their children, and we immediately think that, oh, let's begin to implement that here. We forget that we are different from them. We are Africans. We are most definitely different from them. Our growing up is not in any way the same as theirs. So because of that, we come in here and we raise children, you know, who probably don't even have respect. And respect is a core factor, a core value in an African child. And how do you put in that respect? You have to first of all, you know, punish that child. You have to first of all, you know, train that child in a way that they know that things are wrong and right. And sometimes those kids might not even know it as a child. Like me, I used to use myself as an example. There are so many things my parents did while I was growing up that I didn't understand why. But as an adult, I understand. I am so grateful for them that they did that. However, maybe a part of me feels or wishes that they actually did explain to me what it is that, you know, they were trying to do at the time. I wouldn't have probably understood it, but you know, it should have given clarity, but they didn't explain. So that's the difference. That's what I think is gentle parenting, basically.
You know, I like the fact that you gave yourself as an example, because my upbringing, and kudos to my mom, shout out to my mom, because I know she'll be watching this and she'll be saying, let me hear what he wants to say now. You know, my mom, and she's someone that she'll tell you that when you're talking about the way I raised you, don't whine people, don't tell them, oh, I was kind, I was soft. Oh, tell them when I was beating you, like, and tell them that what you did, you know, that made me beat you if I beat you, and all of that. You know, there's this scar I have on my forehead. I still kind of remember it vividly. What was happening? I was playing with some friends back in my childhood home, and I was told to avoid running. We were playing tag, you know. I've honestly forgotten what we call it in Nigeria. All I know is that when you touch the wall, it's talu.
Hey, I don't.
Poshumo, Abi.
Oh, I didn't play so much as a child.
Oh, you didn't?
so-
Okay.
yeah.
We played that one, though. But you know, us we grew up with a lot of cartoons and foreign
Yeah,
films, so
yeah.
we weren't calling a lot of things the way they call it in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So you see us run, we say tag, you know, and we're running. So there was this particular ditch close to where we were playing, and I remember I was told about 3 times. Yeah, I was told about 3 times, you know, to not run close to that ditch. If I want to run, run around the ditch. Run, don't go close to that area, but don't jump over the ditch. And of course, growing up as a young boy, you believe you are invincible. You are powerful. Nothing can happen to you. I ran over the ditch the first time. I was warned, don't cross, rest. I ignored them. I avoided the ditch. I looked. Once I noticed they were pursuing me, I ran over the ditch the second time, and that was when I was warned. No, I didn't fall, funny enough. You know, and when I did it the second time, and I felt, oh, what are they warning me? They were warning me. I was like, come on, forget it. I don't jump the first, I don't jump the second one. It's all good. I jumped the third time, and nothing happened. It was the fourth time, you know, and I was already confident in my ability to jump that ditch. As far as I'm concerned, there's no ditch there anymore. You know, so I was going through that same place again, and as I jumped the ditch, you know, as I attempted to jump over the ditch, a wire, I don't know where that wire came from. You know, till date, I don't remember if the wire was there from the start. I don't remember if it fell while we were playing. Because for me, after that incident, after I jumped, I don't really, because I was out for like 3 days. You know, so all I remember was the wire, you know, wrapped around my leg, and I was going down in slow motion. That's all I remember. And then I woke up and it was night. You know, that's just what I remember. I woke up, it was night, but I had a very bad headache, you know, and then as I opened my eyes, my parents were like, he's awake. And I'm like, he's awake, how? You know, and the first thing that came to my mind was, you know, the animated Avatar show after he woke up from his 100-year coma. So I was like, have I been asleep for 100 years? What happened? Why are they happy that I'm awake? What's going on? You know, so it was after all of that, best believe I served punishment. After I had healed, I served punishment for it. And guess what? After that experience, it taught me that once you are told to not do something, you need to at least ask, why should I not do that thing? That's the first thing I learned. Why should I not do that thing? You know, and luckily for me, I was, you know, raised in a home where I was allowed to ask questions. Of course, you know, my parents were not perfect, so there sometimes will be like, why would you ask me? They'll say, don't go out. Why should I not go out? Don't go and play with that boy. Why should I not? Did he do anything? Why should I not play with him? You know, come on, go to your room. Why should I go to my room? And then after, you know, collect like 1 or 2, that's when you not calm down. You cry and go to your room. You know, but sometimes I will, you know, receive an answer. Okay, don't do this because of this, because of that, because of this, because of that. But one thing I realized is, overall, it wasn't even what my parents told me that I did. It's after I saw the reason as to why I should not do that thing that I went ahead to not do it or to do it. You know, I went through the boarding school. So for anyone that's been through boarding school, you will get hard-hearted. You can feel you're not afraid of punishment, because you get punished for what you did, you get punished for what you didn't do, you get punished because of another person's problem, you get punished because a senior is in a bad mood. So punishment was nothing new to me. Like, what do you want to punish me that I've not been? But you want to flog me? They don't flog me tired. Pick pin, I don't pick pin. I don't pick pin. So tell my middle name na pin. You fit pin me anywhere, I go pick up. 3 hours you come, I go they sweat, I don't go look you. You know, so I was used to punishment. So it was more or less my personal decision as to why should I do this thing? Why should I not do this thing? So for people that may have my kind of mindset, you know, because of course I won't tell my parents at the end of the day it's me that will choose what I want to do. I would say their beating, yes, it influenced, you know, the things I did, but at the end of the day, it's not what decided what I would do. It's not what made the final, oh, because they beat me, I don't go do them again. No, I have several things that they beat me, I did it again. It was after they beat me to a point, they had to call me and say, come, are you purposely doing this thing? I'll look, I say yes. I have to be honest. I'll look and say yes. Why? You know I've punished you for this thing. I've punished you for this thing like 4 times.
Yeah,
and
but
you're still doing it.
it.
Why are you doing it? I say, because you refuse to tell me why I should not do it. I asked you the first time. And sometimes you get emotional. I asked you the first time, you didn't answer me. Ask you the second time, you didn't answer me. And then it's when they explain to me, okay, when you did this and did that and did this, what was the result? Was it good? Was it bad? And I'll not be like, that's what you should have told me from the start. And I will not do it, So what about children that are like that? What would you then say about whether you need to beat them? Because as far as I'm concerned, beating your child, it doesn't work the wonders that a lot of people think it does. And I'm saying that because I'm using myself as an example. It's not the beating that made me do the right things, because there are some things that it beats me, and I didn't do it until we were able to sit down and reason together.
Yeah.
If you didn't give me a good reason, I will keep doing that. Now you go just keep your hands off and pray. When I decide, I'll stop. So there are a lot of children like me, and even some that are worse than me. So what then would you then, what kind of parenting, if gentle parenting is not the way, and the normal Nigerian parenting is not the way, which kind of parenting do you now think we should inculcate in that type of situation?
You see, that's why I said that gentle parenting has been misconstrued. For every child, there's a dynamic to train that child. And honestly, there is nobody that can tell you adequately how it is that you should train a child. The highest they can do is tell you from their experience, or tell you psychologically how a child thinks.
Yeah.
But then even at that, it's not applicable to every child.
Yeah.
Because every child have traits from their father, from their mother, from their roots.
Very
so
true.
Most definitely there is no connection between two children. There's no same behavioral traits between two children.
You can only find similarities.
You can only find similarities. So the best thing to do is to always study your child. That's why motherhood or parenting is a whole different school on its own. For every year or for every day, you are learning something about your child. Your child is changing. Your child, I think the other day, Francis, when we were in the car coming in the morning, and Francis was saying that recently his child is beginning to eat fish, instead of food. And I was like, why would a child suddenly know the difference between fish and food and all of that? But at the same time, that's understand. Like all of a sudden, he just stops eating food and starts eating fish, just recognizing just fish. So children are definitely going to be growing. They are changing their actions, even their reactions to the things you do.
Yeah.
Some children are so used to a certain kind of punishment that you give to them that when you actually do give them those punishments, they don't see it as anything. They are willing to keep repeating that same mistake because of what you're doing. So it's being able to balance the parenting for me, being able to be there, be iron handed when you need to be, and also being able to cool it off when you need to cool it off. It's not every time that a child must be flogged. It's not everything that you need to command your child to do without explanations. We are raising children now who are very curious, and that curiosity is a good thing. It can also be going to be a bad thing if you're not feeding the curiosity with positivity. Your child is asking questions, give them answers, no matter what it is. That way you are not leaving room for them to go find out these things by themselves,
exactly.
situations or in places that they don't even have any business being there. So fill in those gaps for your children. Let nothing be missing. But then, as I said earlier, try your best as much as you can to ask for help if you need help. And by asking for help of God, I'm going to start with firstly asking God for help. Then secondly, communities of parents as well. You obviously should have friends who are also parents, or maybe church members or something. Ask for help. Like, what do you think I should do to this child, or what this child is misbehaving in this way? And also observe your child enough to know their negative traits, because best believe everybody, and it starts from childhood. Try to identify your child's negative traits, even if you cannot completely eradicate the trait from the child. Let there be a minimal show off of that trait as the child is growing, because you saw it early and because you began to take necessary actions towards those traits. So at the end of the day, there's no perfect way to train a child. The only way to train a child is to actually do your absolute best. Make sure you're paying attention, and when you need help, you do ask for help.
Some people would say that the normal Nigerian parenting is the way to go, and some would say that the gentle parenting is the way to go. We have some reactions from people on social media that some agreed, some did not agree. And you can see this one from Esther Lababe. She said, exactly, the other day a child came to visit. Next thing, he opened a plate of akara I covered for my father and codedly put one in his mouth. Fortunately, I saw him. The way I rush him, man, his mom was apologizing with plenty English. Parenting is no joke. Now, the next one from Patrick Godswill says, the most annoying thing is that those children don't do chores, and those types of parents enable such behavior, and later they will say marriage is hard. I do everything, forget they are the cause of... Okay, they later say they enable such behavior and later will say marriage is hard. I do everything, forgetting they are the cause of it. Discipline your child well, or have the community do it for you if you can't. Now, this next one from Jamilu says, I will never become a general parent for any reason. This is not America. This is Nigeria. If my child misbehaves, I'm beating the living daylight out of him. That's how my parents raised me, so I'm not tolerating nonsense. That one sounds like revenge as far as I'm concerned. Well, MSGC says, well said. May God bless her for this. Even from personal experiences at the bank, it's evident that some parents have become so intentionally and stupidly weak that they cannot correct or discipline a child because they want to play, in quotes, modern parents. So disgusting. And of course, this next one from Daddy Ayanfe says, you could think say all the people with this CS get sense. See nonsense we grown adults they spill. Kill your own because you train them. Them train una well, but thief they amongst una, Yahoo they amongst una, prostitutes they amongst una they. Oh God, what he said at the end, and I quote him, he says una they mad. And then Django decides to respond to him. Can we just go back to the other post? Django decides to respond to him and said, so punishment will kill the child? Clap for yourself. Now, moving on to the next reaction. This from Jen Silva, and he says, I like as everybody they think say it dey easy to train children.
Yeah, that's
why I've been they talk before, but now things don't change. I'm at my maximum anger control level because make I no go pie my own pikin. When I go just come only they talk nonsense. Some kids are reincarnation of the olds. LOL. And that's all the reaction gotten. And the fact that I'm laughing because the two responses that are there is quite evident that those individuals have children.
Yeah.
They're individuals that are raising children or have lived with children. And he said, look, what you're saying makes absolutely no sense. He's like, I'm at my maximum, when it comes to controlling my anger because they are a reincarnation of the old, meaning that some of the things they are doing, you did it when you were young. It'll be quite hypocritical if you look at what your child is doing and you don't see the traits from yourself. Let's say when you were little or even till date, you're a greedy person and your child is greedy. They would want to take another person's property and keep it for themselves. Or you notice another trait, your child is disobedient and you know that you get strong head too. And instead of addressing it the way you believe you should have been addressed, you want to now enact revenge because just like the other person said, like I said, it sounds like revenge to me. I'm not taking nonsense because the way they raise me now the way I go use raise you.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that makes sense to me, but perhaps it makes sense to you.
No, it does make sense. I think I understand from everybody's point of view. Do you understand? But then the most important thing that I took out from there is that everybody thinks it's easy to raise a child until it's your own child, until you are there.
Yeah.
Because aside training a child, there's so much else you're doing for yourself. Aside even training a child, and let's not even talk about the people who have maybe jobs to do.
Yeah.
And still need to be available to training their child. So I can understand. But then we also need, that's why I said we also need to be like very attentive to our children and the traits that they possess. When I was younger, I remember then my dad didn't used to take periwinkle. He didn't used to eat periwinkle. He didn't used to eat beans. Then I didn't know that, but as a child, I started refusing food like that. Beans, I wasn't eating it. Periwinkle, I wasn't eating it. And then, some traits, some things. I went to secondary school and then my godmom at the time in school had reported me to my mom that because I went to a boarding school and that boarding school were not allowed to like cook. But then me and my classmates will go and find one of the aunties that were staying and beg and use their stove for something to cook at the time. So they will come and report to my mother and they say, and my mom, when she wants to be angry, she not say that. And that they used to complain about your father, that like my dad's mom used to tell her, used to gist about how my dad was in school, and stuff like that. And that she's beginning to see that trait in me. Why am I rebellious? It was always like whatever it is that my grandfather tells my dad to do, he does the complete opposite.
The complete opposite.
And with me, it was looking like I was having those traits. So she was now, using that as a yardstick. She was like, why are you doing this one? Is it because of your and at some point I began to think about it. I was like, I'm not trying to be like a bad person or something like that.
It's just who I am.
Yeah, it's just who I am. So the consciousness also crept in about, and at this time, of course, I was in secondary school, so I was a bit, a little bit more mature, able to think for myself. So I began to like, I don't want them reporting me to my mom anymore. And then, because sometimes it's as if she wants to cry for me, like, and that was it moving forward, and it just change like that. So sometimes your children inherit your traits, and it's very normal. So you have to be able to identify those traits and say, this thing that you're doing like this, I've been small, or your father or your mom was doing it when they were younger, and then you have to arrest it immediately, and then see how you can shape that child to not exhibit that trait till they become adults. So you need to pay more attention to it. It's not easy to train any child, that's the truth. That's why I said you need to ask for help if you must ask for help. And also, let's all take it down to maybe teachers or guardians who take the opportunity, because I know children can be very, very stubborn. Take that opportunity to beat up children mercilessly. There is a level to it. You can't beat up another person, no matter how much you say it takes a community, it takes a village to train a child. There's a limit that you're not the parent, should go in training a child. Don't beat a child to the point where they cannot recognize that child. Don't, in short, some parents will tell you not to beat your child. The highest you can do is warn the child, and you don't even correct a child by not first bringing them closer to you. You have to create room for that child. If you're not creating room for that child and you're immediately shouting on that child or something, you've already created fear, and some children can even choose to be rebellious because of that or run away from you. So if you are doing, it takes a community, it takes a village, let's know the limits. Do it in moderation. Let's know our limits when it comes to that. Let's try to not do too much to other people's children.
Well, that's all she wrote here on CEMTV's Jolly Live. That's a wrap, right, Vera?
Yeah, that's a wrap, of course. I think we've been able to touch down gentle parenting on all codes.
Well, that's where we draw the curtains here on Jolly Live with CEMTV. I do hope you enjoyed our gist for today, and if you have your own thoughts to share, you can share them on our social media platforms shown on your screen at CEMTVPLUS on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You can subscribe and drop a like, and of course share to people that would enjoy the gist with you. I am Emmanuel Tamuno Tenari, but you can call me Tammy for short, and stay tuned, we still have a plethora of programs for your listening pleasure.